1190 AM.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station or Clear Channel Communications.
From the fast action of the trading pit to the power brokers making the headlines, you'll hear it all on the Traders Network Show with your host, Michael Yorba. All right. Michael interviews the front page titans about the latest in trading tools and market trends in stocks, commodities, bonds, forex, and derivatives. The Traders Network helps you stay ahead of the curve and delivers tomorrow's trade today. Now, here's your host, Michael Yorba.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. We're broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Channel studios and streaming to you live on yorbamedia.com. All right, I've got Dante Parrini, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of PH Glatfelter. GLT is the symbols, ladies and gentlemen. Look it up. They are celebrating their 150th anniversary in 2014. It's a global supplier of specialty paper and fiber-based engineering materials. They've got innovation, all kinds of things. They're all over the world with this. And I happen to have the pleasure of speaking with their Chairman, CEO, Dante Parrini. Dante, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Michael. Happy to be with you.
I'm glad you're here. You know, when you and I were talking prior to the interview, you told me just a fantastic story about American ingenuity and the way that this country was founded by the kind of immigrants that came here and built it. I'd love for you to open up the story about how Glatfelter got started 150 years ago, and then if you could bring some of yourself to the interview, and we'll get into what the company does, the 2013, 2014 goals as we go through the next couple of segments.
Sure, happy to do so. Glatfelter's story is a very inspiring one. As you said, the company is celebrating its 150th anniversary this year. And so our roots go back to 1864 during the American Civil War. And at that time, a gentleman named Philip H. Glatfelter, who was a Swiss-German apprentice papermaker working in Maryland, ventured north to a small town known today as Spring Grove, Pennsylvania, which is about 25 miles east of Gettysburg, to purchase a bankrupt newsprint paper mill for $14,000. This was his life savings, borrowings, and you can only imagine what the conversation must have been during the Civil War near Gettysburg to buy a bankrupt business with your life savings. And I think it's an example of what America stands for, where people from anywhere, any background can come here, work hard, learn a trade, and pursue an entrepreneurial vision. Part of the company lore is that one of the first applications for Glatfelter paper was for the printing of handbills for the re-election of President Abraham Lincoln. And from that point in 1864 to today, we are now approaching annual revenue of $2 billion per year, and we sell and market our products in about 100 countries around the world.
Wow, you're a leader in position in global growth markets. Let's open that up, bring that out a little bit.
Sure. So I think it's helpful if I provide a little bit of context in terms of the transformation that we've taken the company through over the years, because we have a very rich history in producing high-quality printing and writing papers, and we still have a very large and meaningful specialty papers business today. Glatfelter is a leader in categories like book publishing. We also produce papers for things such as postage stamps and playing cards and greeting cards. And that's an important element of our business. However, we did recognize over time that Glatfelter's portfolio had some product categories that were maturing or even in secular decline. So at that point, we began a very focused effort to redeploy some of our capital, leverage our balance sheet, and invest in growing global fiber-based engineered materials businesses.
Now, let me jump in here for just a second.
Sure.
That gives the audience a rounded view of what Glatfelter does. I want to hear from the guy who's at the helm. Tell me a little bit about your vision, about yourself, so that people can get a feeling for who's driving this massive steamship.
Sure. And I'll do that because you asked. But part of our culture is we focus on team and what's best for the organization, and we have 4,400 colleagues that we call Glatfelter people working day and night around the world to make this happen. So any credit that is due to the company is really due to our employees and the great work that they do. In terms of my personal background, I can identify in some ways with the Glatfelter story because I'm a second-generation Italian-American. And so, my grandfather came over on the boat through Ellis Island. My father graduated high school and made sure that my brother and I went to college. And so I pursued a sales and marketing undergraduate degree and then went to business school and continued with advanced education, but was always fascinated with business and was the neighborhood entrepreneur as a child. So always interested in how the economy works, the circular flow of money, just the whole entrepreneurial vision. And so I could very much identify with the company culture and our history and what we stood for and the values that Glatfelter has. I've been with the company 17 years, and this is my fourth year as chairman and CEO.
Okay. All right. Thank you for bringing that out. And I the humility you bring to the table says a lot to me, and I'm sure it says a lot to the, to the listening audience. You got 4,400 employees. You're in, like you said, 150 countries. You're in Asia. You've got a representative there. You got 1.8 billion in annual sales, and again, ticker symbol GLT. Let's talk, if we can, key markets that are growing, because I understand that your growth rate is amazing, 3 to 10% annually, and for a company your size, that kind of a growth rate says a lot. But can you open that up for us?
Certainly. So as I said earlier, as we decided to invest in strategic acquisitions that were tied to materials businesses and could leverage the institutional knowledge that Glatfelter had built over a century and a half, but would be serving markets that had much more attractive underlying fundamentals. We are now the market leader in beverage filtration paper for the tea bag market. And so more than 50% of every cup of tea brewed in the world with a tea bag is using a Glatfelter paper, and those markets are growing at about 3% per year. A more recent and hot category is single-serve coffee. That segment is growing at a rate of 7 to 8% per year, and Glatfelter has over 80% market share in that particular growing category. So that's been a great product category for us over the last several years, and we continue to invest in providing innovation and additional capacity to serve our customers in that particular space. Glatfelter is also a leader in absorbent solutions that go into feminine hygiene and adult incontinence, the thin swim baby diapers that you might be familiar with if your listeners have young children. And again, that's the adult incontinence market for the retail space. If you just think about the changing demographics of the world, and as people live longer and want to have a healthy, active lifestyle and may need some discrete form of incontinence protection, it fits perfectly for the type of technology platform that we have, where we have great absorbency with very thin, highly functional materials. So that's a few examples of some of the product categories that are driving Glatfelter's growth.
What's the growth rate in that market?
In FemCare, it's about 5 to 6% per year, and adult incontinence is growing quickly off a small base.
Okay, where are you in the market penetration, market share type?
So our share for hygiene, FemCare in particular, which is the largest part of our business, we have about a 1/3 share globally.
Okay, that's a big market. How actually, I should ask that. How big is that market?
So if you were to size the market for our listeners, I would say it's approximately $750 million a year target market in terms of a realizable potential for the company. We have about 1/3 of that.
Okay. You also do non-woven wall covers.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Sure. So that's the newest addition to Glatfelter. We acquired a company in April of 2013 called Dresden Paper. And at that point in time, Glatfelter added the largest producer of non-woven wall cover in the world. And we currently have just under 50% market share worldwide. You may be wondering what is non-woven wall cover, and I'm sure your listeners are familiar with traditional wallpaper and some of the challenges that came with hanging wallpaper, whether it it shrank, it tears, it's hard to peel off the wall. And so the nonwovens uses synthetic fibers as opposed to cellulose fibers to give much better stability to the paper so it doesn't elongate or shrink when it's wet. It doesn't tear as easily, and most importantly, it has a feature called dry strippability, which makes it much easier to install and to take down. And although wallpaper may not be as popular currently in the United States in terms of consumer tastes and preferences, it has a very strong demand in Northern and Eastern Europe as well as China, Asia Pacific. And it's those markets that are driving the global demand, which is a long-term trend has been 10% per year.
Why those markets? Why are those areas, Northern and Eastern Europe and Asia, so prominent on this?
Yeah, Michael, it has to do with both culture and building materials. So for centuries, affluence has been identified by how you decorate your home, and wallpaper has been used for the very rich and successful over the centuries in Northern and Eastern Europe, and that trend continues, and that taste and preference is something that's still attractive to the market. And then as Glatfelter is able to bring a solution that offers dry strippability and ease of installation, it's a lot easier to change the look of your room more frequently without damaging your walls. The other part is construction materials. So in the U.S., you have a lot of drywall and wallboard, and in Northern Eastern Europe and parts of China, Asia Pacific, you have a lot more solid walls, whether they're stone or brick or concrete, and these types of nonwoven materials are well suited for those types of structures.
Okay, thanks. I was just one of those personal questions I have. You earlier in the conversation, you mentioned strategic acquisition.
Yes.
Can you open that up for us and give us the key areas that you see that obviously over the last 10 years you've been moving in that direction, but can you bring some of that to light?
Sure. We've successfully, as Glatfelter, has completed 5 acquisitions over the last 9 or 10 years, and that has helped reposition the business. And the acquisitions that Glatfelter made were both in North America as well as Europe. And the vast majority of them are really tied to helping to support, broaden, and grow the 2 business units that we call composite fibers and the advanced air-laden materials. So these are the fiber-based engineered materials that are growing at rates of 3 to 10% per year. And part of Glatfelter's strategy is to continue to build some global scale and leverage our know-how and market presence and customer relationships and innovation capabilities to create one of the leading specialists worldwide.
All right. Let's touch bases on the milestones. I know the acquisitions are a part of those, and then we're going to need to go to a break in about a minute and a half.
Sure. So in 2013, we did achieve a few significant milestones. We did have record revenues. Our market capitalization pushed over $1 billion. We did a few other things, such as complete the successful rebuild of a paper machine in Germany that increased our capacity in the coffee, tea, and specialties markets, the acquisition of Dresden Paper that I made reference to, and we hit a major inflection point as Glatfelter, post-Dresden acquisition, pushed our EBITDA from our growing fiber-based engineered materials businesses to about 65% of total sales. And we completed a decade where our adjusted earnings per share increased nearly 6 times, and our return on invested capital improved by more than 500 basis points.
Nice team effort.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. We've got to go to a commercial break right now, and when we come back, I want to cover the 2014 goals and what's going to take place at your company to make those achievable.
Sure.
All right, well, we'll be right back on the show with Dante Parrini, Chairman, Chief Executive Officer, PH Glatfelter, GLATFELTER.com, symbol GLT, and special thanks to Monk Media and 1-800 Public Relations for all their PR and media support.
From the North Texas Traffic Center, still no major accidents, stalls, or delays to report to you, but if you see a problem, call us on the traffic tip line. That number is 214-866-8888. I'm Shauna Nance with your KFXR traffic.
With approved credit, fast, fair, and minutes from anywhere. Tad Loeb Toyota McKinney.
Drive new 2014 Camry LEs for just $149 a month. $149 a month.
You get it fast and fair at Tad Loeb Toyota McKinney.com.
Tired of being on the wrong side of the trade? Frustrated with the Wall Street fat cats making billions? Smart money is now flocking to those who have a proven edge. InTheMoneyStocks.com has a proven track record of profitability, and they're willing to reveal their winning strategies. For over a decade, peers have reviewed the proprietary strategies created by the pro traders and investors at InTheMoneyStocks.com. It has been confirmed as the best trading and investing strategy in the world. Now is your chance to learn the expert methodology in this exclusive methodology revealed webinar. You are well aware of the stock market collapse which occurred in 2007. The In the Money Stocks methodology located and alerted members of the impending collapse before it happened. Not only did members protect themselves during the collapse, they profited as well. Reserve your space for the next InTheMoneyStocks.com methodology revealed webinar by signing up under the education section at InTheMoneyStocks.com or email at support@InTheMoneyStocks.com. Your chance to obtain this powerful knowledge is now. Live the dream and profit for life.
Emmanuel Dalavai is a dynamic business coach, motivational, and public speaking professional. He has worked with numerous Fortune 100 firms and is a highly sought-after business resource. If you're looking for someone to MC your organization's special event, seeking a motivational speaker for a graduation ceremony, or just in need of inspired thought leadership, Emmanuel is your guy. Emmanuel is also the DFW Career Doctor, and if you're seeking employment change, he can provide individual and group consultation for resume writing, interviewing, and other career helps. Contact Emmanuel today by email, help@dfwcareerdoctor.com, or by calling 214-552-7932.
I'm Dr. James, founder of Diamond Physicians, a concierge medicine practice located in Dallas, Texas. Our Diamond 360 Advanced Physical Exam has been created for people like you who live a high-stress, fast-paced life. Every 40 seconds, someone in the U.S. experiences a life-changing heart attack or debilitating stroke. Negative stress tests and normal cholesterol levels do not exclude you. Half of all fatal heart attacks occur without warning. Diamond goes beyond traditional medicine with the Diamond 360 Advanced Physical Exam, proven to prevent heart attacks, strokes, and diabetes. Contact Diamond now at 214-395-3491. That's 214-395-3491. Or visit our website at diamondphysicians.com to take the Diamond Challenge. If your Diamond 360 reveals perfect health, receive a full refund. Your loved ones will thank you.
From the Mini Cooper Weather Center, this report is brought to you by the iHeart Radio app. Today, partly sunny with a 30% chance of showers, high of 92. Tonight, cloudy, low of 72.
This time of year, you can have beautiful days that suddenly turn ugly. Surprise storms, damaging hail, and deadly tornadoes. Be informed. Your traffic and weather are always available with the iHeart Radio app. Download it today.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. Broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Channel Studios. Streaming to you on yorbamedia.com. All right, I am joined by Dante Parrini, Chairman CEO of PH Glatfelter, and the symbol is GLT. This is a company that's got $1.8 billion annually in sales. They're all over the world, 150 countries, 4,400 employees, but it's a team effort here. You're hearing from the CEO, the man that's been in the industry and been with this company for quite a while. And Dante, welcome back to the show. Appreciate this for the second segment.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I've got some. Now we can get into the business of the business. You've more than tripled the size of the company, and I'd like to hear the story about how that occurred, and then we'll lead into the 2014 goals that you have, and beyond.
Sure. So as you can imagine, the process of tripling the size of the company didn't happen overnight, and it started, several years ago with a thoughtful strategy. And then getting the right people on the team and in the right positions so that we could execute with the level of precision that was required, given the lofty goals and aspirations that we all had as an organization. The combination of 5 strategic acquisitions and investing in organic growth opportunities was the main driver of Glatfelter's growth over that period of time. And the result is that we now have leading positions in growing global fiber-based engineered materials markets. We talked about that Glatfelter is the market share leader in beverage filtration papers, whether that's tea bag at greater than 50% market share or single-serve coffee with greater than 80% market share. The hygiene segment, whether it's a third of the global fem care market share or participating in the growing retail adult incontinence segments, and the newest acquisition that put us in the nonwoven wallcover business that gave us exposure to another growth segment. A couple other things were important underpinnings to our ongoing success, and that's the culture here at Glatfelter and the core values. So many companies have missions and visions and purposes and value statements. At Glatfelter, they're very real and they're a very visible part of our culture. So when we talk about things like integrity and financial discipline, mutual respect, customer focus, environmental and social responsibility, these are the things that really do influence the way we make decisions, the way we allocate resources, the way we treat all of our stakeholders, and find ways to win the right way, so to speak. That's a great segue into saying, so, okay, what are we going to be doing as we look to the future?
Whoa. Before we get into the future, because you really hit a nerve with me right there. Okay. I mean, I deal with all kinds of moving objects in my business, too. How do you get, and it only comes from the top, how do you get everybody to pull together like this and not have egos get in the way and splintered and moving in 1,001 directions? How do you get them all to pull together to accomplish what you've accomplished? How does that happen?
So it's a great question, and it's not easily done. So, of course, it does start with the tone at the top, and whether that's with our board, me as chairman and CEO, our senior executive team, and all of our business leaders throughout the organization, and all 4,400 Glatfelter people around the world. That we have a deep and rich history, and this culture was built over several decades, century and a half. The biggest challenge, Michael, that Glatfelter faced and that I faced as CEO is as we were growing so quickly through acquisition, we got to a point where more than half of our employees had less than 5 years of tenure with the company at one point. And so they didn't have the benefit of kind of growing up, quote unquote, in Glatfelter. And so how could we export Glatfelter's values and vision and communicate the right way of doing business and help people understand that our code of conduct is done not just to comply with laws and regulations, which of course is mandatory, but to also convey the message that we're going to win the right way. And so it's an effort that everybody has to invest time and energy day in and day out. It's formal and informal communication. There are structured reminders and subtle reminders. And then the other element is when we are looking to promote or hire people to fill critical roles, we don't just assess their technical skills and capabilities, but we looked at the soft skill factors, and personal values and style and fit are tremendously important as we assess talent.
All right. Good. I learned something on that one. Let's move forward into you're about to go there, 2014, your earnings per share, things of that nature. Please roll it out for me.
Sure. So we don't give specific annual guidance, and we're in a quiet period because we'll release earnings in a couple of weeks. But from a big picture point of view, we believe that Glatfelter is very well positioned for continued global growth. We've invested in building growth platforms in Glatfelter's composite fibers business, as well as our advanced airlaid materials business. We're enthusiastic about market recovery in our specialty papers business, and we have some new leaders in that business that are bringing dynamic energy and passion to the business that we think will be constructive, recognizing that's a big cash generator for Glatfelter. And then we want to continue to be smart about pursuing strategic acquisitions. Over the last several years, as we've increased Glatfelter's frequency in making strategic acquisitions in these niche fiber-based engineered materials businesses, we continue to be presented with significant numbers of opportunities year in and year out. So I'm confident that we'll be able to find the right fit, right opportunities over time to broaden and enhance our business portfolio, and at the same time, we'll continue to invest in growing organically. And I do want to speak a little bit about our cash flow profile and the balance sheet.
Please.
Glatfelter's worked hard over the years to strengthen its cash flow profile, and as such, we've been able to do a number of important value-creating activities at the same time, whether that's strategic acquisitions, organic investments. Over the last couple of years, we increased our dividend 22% in the last 16 months, and we hadn't increased our dividend in 2 decades. We have been buying back shares. Glatfelter hadn't been able to do that for nearly 2 decades as well. And so I think our board and our management team is demonstrating that there's a clear understanding of all the different levers that are available to a team to create sustainable value over time and grow our market cap in a thoughtful way.
All right. Now you've also we've got about a minute and a half left in the show here with you. You've also exhibited a strong balance sheet with financial flexibility to continue to execute your strategy. In just the small amount of time remaining, can you give us some 2014 goals that you look to achieve, or 2014 and beyond goals that you look to achieve for the company?
Well, sure. As we set out this year, we came off a 5-year compound annual growth rate of our net sales growing at about 6.5%, our adjusted EBITDA growing a little over 7% per year, and our adjusted EPS growing at 14% per year. And so as we think about the trajectory of the business, we want to continue along those lines of thoughtfully and sustainably, growing our revenues, doing so profitably, and finding other ways to create EPS leverage as we think about the future. And so I don't get too worked up quarter to quarter. Of course, we work hard and we want to produce consistent results, but I want to make sure that we're balancing short-term goals and objectives with our long-term strategy so that year in and year out we can deliver results that everybody will be happy with and proud of.
Okay. All right. We've got to close here on the segment now, but before we go, please, contact information would best be just send everybody to your homepage on your website.
Yes, it's www.glatfelter.com, and our ticker symbol is GLT.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much, Dante. I really appreciate that, and I know you'll have continued success.
Thank you, Michael. Great being with you.
My pleasure. All right, Dante Parrini, Chairman, CEO, PH Glatfelter. GLT is the symbol, GLATFELTER.com. And I want to send out a special thanks to Monk Media, 1-800-Public Relations, for all their PR and media support. On the other side of this break, we'll be right back with Nick Brustore, and I'm going to, hopefully I pronounce this right, Brustore, Chairman and CEO of Finor Growers. We'll be right back.